Hello everybody, how's everybody doing? I didn't have up the thanks Grabby and Badzilla for the hosts. I just realized I'm streaming my game start screen and not my startup screen, but anyhow, we're here. In S7 we'll cover, I think maybe later on after I give you guys a little tour of what we've been doing, we'll do a little bit of troubleshooting issues. I don't know about the door though because I haven't got into the new animated door files. I haven't put any new files, no new buildings yet. Oh, that might be a little loud for you guys. I might have to turn down the noise here a little bit. I got my sound on but once we get in game we should be good. I can at least turn it down in there. So, but as far as troubleshooting the sound file, that should be pretty easy. We'll go through how to troubleshoot missing file stuff. Basically, you either have to remove the association to the file, find out where it is, or just replace the file. But we'll look into that in a little bit. The Fizman, thank you for the follow. So, turn off my radio. It always starts up now. Basically, since the last time you saw me, I've been doing more of the same. So it's not going to be too much to see yet. We're still in, but getting closer to being done with the terrain layout, grass painting, and foliage on the outside. So we'll just take a little bit slower look around out there today and try to cover some of the details that have to be finished up before I can get into putting the new buildings and all that crazy stuff. But I want to get this up on our server for testing pretty soon, and at least so I'm going to have to do all the field markings right after I get the terrain, make sure I don't have any new fields that I'm going to drop in. But we'll take a look where we left off. We'll go around the map. I added several new mountain ranges and painted a lot of grass, a few new fields, and it's really starting to come together, but has still a long way to go. We'll get into placing more of the decorative objects like all the street lights and all that stuff. Once I get it up on the server, that stuff can be added as we go. But buildings, that type of thing, they'll all be coming. Sawmills for the yeah, all the new mods that are coming out. We'll get a lot of those cool ones in here as well. Anyhow, here we are. We left off pretty much. You guys saw a lot of this, but you could start seeing a lot more of the landscape, and we'll just take a little bit of a drive around. There's a lot more mountain ranges. We're going to go in this direction this time, and all the trees still have to be planted out here, so it's really going to start filling in very soon. I have lots of new mountain ranges built in down here and different scenic areas as well as some new fields. So it's really starting to look the way I envisioned it, actually. This all on the left is kind of new, breaks up and a couple, that big area that I was saving, I decided to put a couple fields down here for this farm that's over here because I realized that there's going to be plenty of room on the other side if I ever want to do something additional on this over here. So there's plenty of room to expand back if I decide to put a airport or anything in. You never know what's going to happen. But I felt like I needed a couple extra fields down here, and there's just still so much room. So you got this little road that comes down through. It kind of breaks up that area a little bit. And there's a few extra fields down here on the right as well that come right up to the road. And there's a place. Yeah, you can see that little pass through down to those fields there. And there's a place up here on the right for a future building of some sort. I'm not sure which one it's going to be, but you can kind of get an idea of what I've been working on. You're kind of separated from what's down below, so you're going to have to find a road or jump off a cliff to get over there to those fields. But there's a nice big area lot over here, as well as a lot more scenery in the mountain ranges starting to come in on this side of the map, with some areas like this area is one of those areas you can pretty much build up to what you want. It's all, you could put your own road in through here, put some buildings along it, but it's all going to be filled in with trees very soon. So you'll have to, it is a field, one of those fields that you can take out with the rollers and build your own area all the way up through here. But on the top side, we have the road that comes winding through also, with a lot more hills up through this area. Just kind of breaking up the scenery a little bit, so you really keep you guys from driving across a million fields, and everything leads to something, which is kind of cool. You just never know. And really, when I drive around these maps, there's so much out there that you guys don't see because of all the, now it's all getting blocked off with all these new ranges and everything. But you kind of get an idea of what the terrain is going to look like now. A lot of it is done, but there's still more to go as I work my way around the map. Like, I haven't finished the grass in some areas, and as I work my way around the map, deciding basically where and how things are going to come together, we just keep on building it. So you've got the road up here that goes up toward the fields for the farm up this way, with the train tracks rolling right through all the way around. And I built in this whole new range right through here as well. But there's a couple of entrances to get up to this side. A couple of those dirt roads. There's another one that comes up. So things are very windy, and a lot of the grass area that I'm leaving in for now also might end up, as we bring in factories or whatever we build, might end up coming out in the future. But for now, I'm just getting it to a point where we can at least start testing and playing what's been done. So you can kind of see it's really starting to come together. And we're about, not even, well, we're only on side 2 of the 4 sides. So all the way through here, there's a lot more detail in the surrounding terrain. And once the trees and everything fill in, it's going to look a lot different. And some additional roads will be put in as I realize where we're going to travel around the map. But we have the farm that's right up here. Black screen of death. Well, you can always watch it back. We will put it up on YouTube at some point as well. I just posted up the last episode on Wednesday night up to YouTube right before the show, because I often am so tired I forget to get them up there right after. But my reminder is, oh my gosh, I got a broadcast, so let's put the last one up today, and it'll be up there. And here is this farm. You could see, I just love the way the multiple levels you have here. You can't even see the farmhouse that's up there from down below here. So you're going to have lots of different paths to learn to find what's around. Lots of things that still have to be done. This area here hasn't been reached yet with all the extra terrain. There's a little bit through here, but not a lot. But you can go loop back around and head back up to the other farmhouse that we have up here. You think about the teleport like Dragon Ball to go to point. Apparently you can go to, yeah, you can go, once we get the fields marked, you can teleport to any field or any of the buildings, that sell points or anything. So you really don't need one. Zach1X, thank you for the host as well. But you can see this is the one farm up here, and down below on a couple different levels, lots of fields for each of the farms. Some of them with their own BGAs, some do not. And some with their own roads that go everywhere. So But there's so much room out here that going just around it once and sticking to the main highways kind of you miss a lot. So I'm just going to try to weave back and forth a little bit, even in the areas that aren't developed like over here. I have no idea. This is very close to being the only section left to decide what's going to be coming in. A lot of open land still over here, but I feel like I have enough fields already, believe it or not. Yeah, you can't take your vehicle without teleport mod. I do have the teleport mod downloaded, but I still haven't installed it. But yeah, there's a ton of room. But we also got to get some businesses and shops in, so I'm kind of going back and forth. Do I want to put that in now? I'm going to start putting some of the railroad, one of the earliest things, the railroad sell points. There's even a bridge that isn't in here yet for the railroad that I have to bring in. But I'm going to start bringing in some of the railroad sell points so I know where they're going to go and get some sell points in, then start looking at all the new fancy factory building fabric script stuff little by little, adding it to the map where we think it's going to work out the best. So you got a ton of different angles and stuff added in, and a lot of trees that still need to be planted, but you could see just probably the most scenic map. I'm really trying to put everything in this thing. Hopefully it will handle it. Once we get all the decorative objects and stuff in here, it should be pretty darn awesome. I mean, we're just looking at the basic landscape, trees, grass. They're all still being worked on, so in the long run, all the little things that are going to make it come alive are really still not here. Thank you very much there, Fizzman. I'm really trying to make this my best effort ever, and it's going to take a little longer, so I don't know how, because a lot of times I do, in the past, I've done a pretty quick, necessary job to the terrain just to get it out there, and I think even myself, the maps always have been filled with stuff that people like, but they've always, I'll be the first to admit, been lacking on the overall immersion factor from having a unique terrain. I got to fix that road. I got a little bit. Having just a unique terrain and layout. So this area all over here is relatively new too, and we're going to have some gravel down off of this side. It's not going to look like that when it's done, but that's where we're going to be able to dig the gravel up down in that little area off the main road. But also the train goes right through it, so you'll be able to pull up a train and load your gravel off of there. And all this new mountainous stuff that's surrounding it has come in on both sides. Still, again, lots and lots of flat areas. Which isn't a bad thing, but I know a lot of the stuff, if I build it up now, it's going to end up being torn down for all the factories and stuff. So I really have to see what's going to work and start bringing in a lot of that stuff very soon. Let me take this down. We don't really need to see that. Give you a little bit more of the corner view. But all this range through here has come in around the back side of the city area. Is all drawn in and needs to be covered with the trees, bushes, grasses, and whatever to bring it to life. But it's starting to come together. You can see down in there. There's areas where we'll be able to put plenty of stuff. And the whole, boy, this massive city area is going to be one heck of a thing to build up, I'll tell you, with all these roads. But we'll definitely get some of our buildings and sell points in here. And it should look pretty cool when it's done. Some parks, who knows? But it will come together. So yeah, all that back there is pretty much new. You can't just jump off the road and say, I want to go to the field that's behind that range over there, which there is. You're going to have to find ways around And yeah, now I can come down here off the cliff if I want to, but if you notice, you come back around here, there's actually a field built in back in this little corner that's tucked away back here, so it's kind of pretty cool. And there's another road entrance through the hills up above. I think I showed you that on Wednesday. But you can, and there is a ton of that terrain. You can kind of see it as I'm driving along here, where it's actually terrain that's done as fields planted in grass that you can actually just run your roller over to return it back to the dirt texture. So this is going to open up into something right here too. I don't know what yet. I could put more fields there, but I think I really do think, wow, we've got so many fields on here that it's going to be, well, let's see. I haven't even counted, but we can get an idea of sort of the farm areas and all these new fields. This is the city area that we're in right now, so you don't see a lot there. But if we have 32, I'm counting, 47, 48, 49, 50. Somewhere around 79, 80 fields would be my guess right now. And some huge ones at that. Yeah, we'll see what comes along that we can add into this map there, the Fizman. It's going to be a little while. There will probably be, just like everything else, Pleasant Valley 15. This will probably be equivalent to 17 with some what features we have available at the release, and then we'll just continue on expanding it into as the cool stuff still has a lot of it to come in, and figuring out what we're going to do for factories and all that stuff as well. Right now we're still kind of stuck with number of product types that we can get on the map. You can see this is one of the farms down here. Everyone with their own BGA, and a double silo on this farm is one of its advantages, plus the fact that there's a ton of large fields around this farm that you have to operate. And several of them along the railroad tracks. We did a little show a couple days ago, Winston, that I did pretty much a tutorial on adding crops to a map from start to finish using the script, so you could always follow it back. That was on Monday's show, which would have been episode 12. We did it from start to finish on getting crops in. But the problem right now that these maps have is that I have run into an error where 64 fill types, even though it's supposed to support 256, at 64 the game crashes. So there's still something that has to be done there, and I'm kind of limited as to what can be added. And there's the swamp down below that I have to fill in. This will be swampland coming in with, hopefully we'll have some scoopable silt or muck or whatever you want to call it out of the bottom of this swamp, with a lot of dead trees to do some logging and some digging in the mud through here. You can see I just placed one dead tree just for the heck of it, and fill it in with a lot of those. We need the beaver dams you can raid like you do in the Ark. Put them down there, that'd be. But we'll have the swamp in over there, and then we're back to pretty much where we started, I think, except for the lake. I'm going to show you guys just what small, yeah, alligators in the swamp would be kind of cool. What a small section of that lake, if you were here on Wednesday, I started backfilling my lake with sand because you guys are going to have to dig it all out. And I'm still in the process. But if all works out well, this is a new save game, and I think I updated the file. Wipe out. I wipe out a lot, if you guys haven't noticed. Traveling too fast. But yeah, you can see right here, I've actually managed to get this sand filled in here. It's not even as high as it can go, but we have an island. It's kind of cool. This is all diggable material, and it's going to be a lot more coming, but what I'm on right now is 11 million liters of sand. So, and it's just this, I don't think we'll get the whole lake filled up, but let me show you. And thanks for the follow, Merv Swazi. Let me show you just underneath the water. I can take a look here how much sand is in here and how deep it actually is. And that's 11 million poured in to make it an island out here that you'll be able to dig out this whole pond area. And I'm going to keep pouring in as much as I can to fill in as much of this water as I can so that you'll have a lake to dig out. But that's the way mining's going to work this time. You're going to actually have product that you will get. No more of this fake triggers that you can park stuff on. The map can support it. You're going to be digging. And we'll just do a quick thing because I am so tired of map making today. I've been at it since 10 o'clock this morning that I might as well play a little bit and show you guys a little bit of that. Here, we'll need some money. Let me get a loader over here. See how it works out. Yeah, we'll get the two-wheel version. I didn't even think, but with the shovel, we're gonna have to start getting Big Daddy to work on the cat loader and stuff too, so we have something a little bigger. I give him so much work. He missed his show apparently, but he must have got busy. I haven't heard from him today, but I do. And whatever he gets done for us here is just all the more. He always seems to come through with stuff that we need the most and some stuff that's just really cool. You've got the 980 cat loader and released it on Modland. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, he's pretty... Is he sick? Wouldn't surprise me. Has his... I haven't seen him at all today. Both the all-wheel steering and the articulated models. Cool. So yeah, one of the things, I just thought it would be kind of cool because the mod supports it, to not have to have all these little triggers that you set your shovel on. I mean, we have the ability to actually have sand and gravel and fill in areas. This time it's a lot more work for me, but also it's a lot less. I think the amount of work it's going to be for, yeah, you could pull conveyors over here and fill it up, but you're going to have to now move that stuff around. So yeah, let's put it this way: if we get buildable factories in, you won't be looking at a million sand and a million gravel, because you'll be much more realistic in terms of you bring a couple truckloads over and you should be good to go, because the work that you're going to have to do to get it now is going to be a little bit more so. So it'll be a small, quicker job is what I'm hoping for. You know, a couple 100,000 of your sand or gravel, because that'll be just a couple trailer loads rather than a ton. So over here you have, it's pretty much an island, but you can dig out any of this product and bring it. Now I don't have the particle effects in still, but you can see I got a shovel full. you're going to just be able to dig down all the way. We can pile it back up. All the way to the bottom when you come in here. But it's completely... Who knows? I should have a bet. First person to empty the lake of sand wins. Because it's going to take... It's going to be different. I think it's really cool. I hope you guys do. The fact that you're actually not just setting your shovel on a trigger this year, but you have real product that you can dig out of the map. If I had my time, I would have made... And you could put fields on top of this stuff. I would have made the whole map like this. But you can't. We could have put a field underneath it. It's going to be a challenge. But it's all real sand. Well, not real. Real digital sand that you can move around. So I think that's pretty awesome. Yeah. The sand itself you can't take out with the Economy XML down here. You got to dig it. There's only one way to do it, and that's replacing the high density files. So yeah, that's why I can't have a contest. Somebody jump and create a blank density map file, and it would zap all the sand, but there's no other way to get out of it. So with that, let's go take a look at... That's 11 million right now in there. 11 million sand, Manuel. Or Manu. 199726. I'd like to see at least 30, 50 million. But I will also gauge it on the products and what we're going to be using it for as we get a little bit closer. So he was looking for a data windmill wave file. Data sounds windmill for S7 was. So first thing I would do whenever I see a data file that's pointing in the data folder is jump into my C drive, which is right here. Program files x86, farming sim, data, sounds, and see if I have a windmill wave file in here. And if I do, which I don't, then it means that you're going to have to get yourself a windmill file. Find yourself a windmill wave file and make sure that you, if you can't find actually where it is in the map, you can do two things. You can go in, let's see, I'm trying to think of a sound that I do have. But if you just bring up your your map file in Notepad++, give it a minute. You can do a Control F search for, well, I can search for .wav, I think, and you will see every sound file like arcade crowd wave, WAV, arcade noise, but you could search for windmill and find out the exact path that it's pointing to. That's where all my sounds are, right through here apparently. So once you find out the exact path, it'll say either data or dollar data. If it has a dollar status, then it's pointing, the dollar sign tells it to look in the default map folder where we just were and not actually in the map. So you're just going to have to build a windmill.wave file into your map, change the path to point to exactly where it is. Like mine here are in sounds arcade crowd wave file. So if you look right here, it's sounds, and you'll see I have it in my map, arcade crowd wave file. So I would just put a windmill file in here, make sure it's linked to sounds/windmill.wav, and then relink it. And actually, yeah, good question. I could check that. That's very likely the problem is that it was linked to the windmill. Let's see if we have one. I should have it for the So let's go to C, Program Files, Farming Sim 2015 Data, Maps, Sounds, and we have, I don't see a windmill.wave in there either. If you can find a windmill.wave, then you can use it and just bring it into your map and relink it. If you can't find it, then you'll have to look around and look on the web. Just search for a windmill sound and find a wave file. Just be cautious of how big the file is. Make sure it's as small as, I mean, they add to the map and to how much memory whenever anybody drives by that windmill that it's going to cause. You guys can relink files the same way. Whenever you get an error about a warning or a file that's not linked and you can't find what's looking for it, just open up that map in Notepad++. Oh, not that one. We don't want our map02 file. But do a search. Find out where it's calling from. Howdy there, Maki. Doing good. Everybody else, I hope you're all doing well. Let's jump into... That's my streaming radio. Alright. So... I have to put in my save game eventually, another million sand. 10 million, actually. But we're going to jump into the map. I'll do a little bit more out here. It's early yet. I mean, I've got so much to cover. You guys have any other questions? We can... It's in the file with the wind turbine generator. Usually the sounds are in the same place. It could be... You could do a search on your computer for windmill.wav, where you keep all your files, and if it's there, it will find it, and then just copy it over. Oh, this is where I left off. I've been working on this area. I've got a lot of grass to paint on these mountains. Not a lot of fun, but it must be done. So I will continue to work around. I'm pretty pleased with that area. This whole place juts out here too as well. And what I'm going to do right now is, we got to do a lot over here. I want to make sure there's enough area on each of these farms for each farmer to build their own add-on, or for you to build up your landscape the way you want. So I'm going to just bring this out, cross over my... Well, I didn't like that crossover. I want to bring it over... I can't draw a straight line today. Yep, can't draw a straight line. It's funny how that works sometimes. But I'm going to build one of those areas over here. Very large areas that you guys will just be able to fill in with whatever you want. So I'll show you. Basically, I don't think I know I told you guys a lot about this, but I really never showed you what I do. So what do we have? Rough dirt, grass, gravel, rough dirt, add. Let's get rough dirt and just paint in a huge area on the map here. This is going to be for whatever you guys so choose to build up. Just look for the darker ground on the ground and you'll be able to build eventually whatever you want in here, if you want to. Once you clear all the trees and stuff that I put on it. I'm going to just go right down and make sure it's a relatively nice looking square area if you decide to take it all out and expand your farm or something. But right up to the edge so you can build in barns or whatever that you want. Anywhere you want. Greenhouses, barns, parking areas, extra storage, placeables, a bee farm, windmills, you name it. You can do whatever you want. We're going to hopefully come up with some cool placeables down the road that you'll be able to expand the map the way you want it as well. But there will be several things that are built in. I'm not going to go down to where the terrain gets a little bit crazy because building placeables on a flat spot works, but not so much as nice on the hilly spots. So we're just going to draw the rest of this in for this piece right up to the wall so you guys can build your barns or whatever right to the back. And then once I have that area designated, I am going to grab my, and this will be different if you're not don't have your map set up for a 64 fill type, but in the foliage layer, on the one that is expanded like mine, foliage layer, terrain detail, it is bit number 2 added to it, and it gives you the grass undercoat, which is actually a field with the grass planted. This is the texture that the roller will take right out, and you can recover whatever dirt you want that's underneath here to build your own roads in or whatever, but it's a little bit different than the regular grass. But once we put plant grass on top of it, it actually all blends in pretty decent. And also, by doing this, the grass that is going to be planted, if you guys decide just to cut down the trees in here, you will be able to fertilize the grass and get the higher yield and just keep it a field. It'll be a free field that you're going to have to work for, because believe me, there will be trees planted. So we'll just finish this one out all the way down. And there's several of these areas on the map this time around. Not all the map, but you just have to look for that weird looking terrain spot. And you could even test it, plow it, doesn't work, replant it with grass and it'll grow back like normal grass, or build another field back in. But you should be able to tell where I've done this throughout the map if you take a close look, or especially when you're looking. They're much easier to tell when you're looking from it in a distance. You'll just see that darker soil from the distance map that is built up, but when you get close, it's not always apparent, which is a good thing, I suppose. Let me go over here, finish up this side. So even though this is, yeah, there's going to be a lot of trees on this map as well. I mean, forestry, we do have a couple main forests, but there's definitely going to be the need, and you're going to probably want to just go around in certain areas and clear them, not just to stay within that area, but like this whole area, once I build trees, you might want to return that to a field. So once I have the field covered, I will switch over to planting grass mode, which is right grass, and I know now because I've been doing this for 10 months now. It's bit 8, and I'm just gonna, you don't even have to worry about, actually, one thing I like to do when I get to these areas first is fix this radius on the, I'm gonna put the smooth tool and add grass and just smooth out the rough edges of that I kind of go through and fix these railroad tracks so they look a little bit cleaner. It's kind of hard to do unless you use the smooth tool to get a decent edge on the railroad tracks when they're going around the corner, because everything is so boxy in the Giants editor. So you just kind of smooth it out a little bit. It does make it look a lot better. And I'm not concerned with it how thin or thick it gets. I mean, Like I said before in one of the broadcasts, I looked at the ones Giants did, and mine actually looked pretty good compared to some of the where they are. So you're never going to get this type of thing perfect, but it looks better already than it did when we started. You know, that's all that matters. Now I can get up close with that thing and paint some grass in, but we have to turn the smooth tool back off and fill in this area. And I kind of like to have a square brush when I'm up against, well, its track is angled a little bit, so it's not really making much difference in that area. But we'll just build on in. Now you'll be able to see there's that little road thing you can extend off of it. Still wondering about the window on new fruit types. Did all the just like they instructed. They left out the stuff about map material directory equals map holder. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, so do you get windows on your map with Odorai? We'll check that out. Once I do a little bit, we'll go back in, check this out. I never tried to see if there was Odorai windows. They could be there. They might be left out, but we'll check it out and see if I have them. I haven't got to that point yet. I'm kind of at the point where I think they should be there, but it might not be. That thing is so confusing, the multi-fruit script, that literally I didn't do it the way that they had said, but they included the files. It should have window. There's a section in there that's supposed to convert them, I believe, to regular windows. We'll check it out in a little bit. But first, I need to keep painting all this grass in so you guys can mow it. Now, just finishing up tons of this map, and it's getting there. I figure by the end of this weekend I will be done with the painting grass and the mountains completely for now, phase 1, so we have a playable terrain and mountains to work on. And then, but I'll probably still be working on the trees a little bit. So we can just keep the grass continued on here as well. What I want to see when I get to areas like this that are it's going to be kind of useless through here. I do have to paint all that railroad track too, but I'm going to just go and do what I keep doing, add more terrain details in by taking this ridge that's right along here and kind of just building something else in here to make it a little bit more interesting. Maybe leave a path that we can put. I'm going to close this right off. I'm going to bring it right over. You can use bigger circle if you want, but we'll bring it right up to the edge. And I'll connect it to that little part right over there a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Right in here we're going to have... I hope I didn't get too close to the railroad. You got to watch that. It's tough to level those things out. And I did it once. I don't want to do it again. We'll just put a little bit of mountains in here. We do have a little area there. We might be able to put a shop in or something. So we're going to leave that. But I'm going to just give the terrain, I want a little bit smaller, some detail right through here. Yeah, it doesn't look very pretty right now. And we'll bring it right up to that. Oh, bad. I'm messing with my railroad track. I have to put a bridge in over here. We'll just do it right there. get it to a height that you like. And I'm going to take my smooth tool and just make it look like it's... I like the randomness. Small button, I mean, pull it right up, but in the beginning I'm just looking at the height and making it, whoops, random looking. Not really care so much about how the mountains are laid out. You could spend... I gotta put a bridge in over here. You could spend a ton of that time when really you just gotta get in there and be careful around your tracks, though, and just build it. Once you have that whole section in, we got to do this side too. And this is one thing I did not do. I did not add a lot of these extra things in any of my maps. I guess Bjorn Holm had some terrain that needed to be in there, but you know, it was much wider open and didn't have a lot of these details. And it does take a lot more time, but you can see they're coming in pretty good. I got the grass going right up to that already. I'll have to make some. But I think overall there's so much land that we've had on these 4x maps. 45 degree, add mountain rock. Whoops. Don't forget to switch the paint tool, which I always do. And it's really not needed. I mean, you guys know. I mean, a lot of you I know like that. I mean, but there's so many fields already that overkill on fields. We'll fix that. We'll put a bridge in there eventually. The problem is that bridge is around a corner, so I got to manufacture one like I did once on the other side. We'll just bring this in. And I think I want to make this to 35 instead of 45 degrees so I can get a little bit more of the rock texture in this area, which works. We'll go right underneath that bridge where it comes through and get this side as well. I want to go back to 45 and just paint in. And totally random mountains painted up in no time at all. We've got to put some detail on these tracks over here. You have this little winding road that comes through with enough space up here to put a little shop or a stall or something. And if I need to, I can easily carve this out to put something bigger in, but I'll worry about that later on. Let me get to 35. Right now it's just getting the initial looks. Yeah, we can make a bridge out of stone. That's for sure. You could definitely make bridges out of stone. Make bridges out of a lot of things. I made it out of cement. I actually saw a pretty cool thing in Andre's map that I want to check out that might work there. That's why I have not built it yet. I'm going to just go around here with the 35 degree angle and kind of get a little bit of highlight to the land around here. And we've got some spots, you know, we got to do some railroad track painting. But little by little, we shall get there. Round, turn to square, turn off my slope limit. We're on gravel. And keep on painting. It's all these little details for a 4X map that take a ton of time to get them exactly the way you want them. But I really need to know where this stuff's going to go before I paint all the grass and then have to take it all out. So we're going to just keep on going. And you can see how the curves are the hardest part to paint on these railroad tracks. It just doesn't want to make a nice pretty looking thing. But it will do. We could do all sorts of things on these rails. But even if they just run through the scenery and stuff, hang on just a second, people. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Tapped on the shoulder by my nephew. But anyhow, I don't know where I was. Yeah, you gotta just add the details into the landscape. I think it's gonna look really cool when you go on a train ride. The train splines do like the car spline. They're very similar. Yep, they're just like the car splines. They're not all in yet here as well. I just have one done. And it took me, because of the length of my trains, I think I figured the first one was about 26 hours to do one spline. So I'm not looking forward to doing the next one, but it'll come soon enough. Definitely will be here. And probably going to get it up on our server and just tell the guys only to use the one train until it's ready. We'll get the traffic splines in wherever possible too, on the main highways and stuff, to give it all that realism. But they are time consuming. So you can see we have lots and lots to do. But like I said, by the end of the weekend, we should have all the painting and terrain and grass planted if all goes well. And then Monday I should be doing trees. I should already be doing lots of trees before then, hopefully. And we'll be starting to get some sell points along the railroad tracks as well. Figure out where all those are going to be, because they're long railroad tracks. Look at all the space down here still. I just don't know what to do with it all. We will find out. I wonder how many hectares of fields there are. Probably. I don't think it's going to be as much as PV Rivers, but Rivers, basically when we were playing it, it was one of those things where the amount of work there was on that map, we never needed all the fields by any stretch of the imagination. You couldn't do them fast enough and keep them all going and get everything done by planning them all. So I think we have enough on here to keep everybody very busy. But then again, I don't want to waste space, so maybe you'll have to draw in your own field. We'll see. There's a lot of factories, hopefully, or something that's going to be coming in here. You never know. It's like that big last hanging in the air thing. What are we going to do? How much can we bring in? How are things going to be done this time? Give me the UPK kit so I know. It's out there, but it still has its issues. Right now it looks like the fabric script is the way everybody's going with most of their stuff, which doesn't support me doing buildable stuff, which is kind of a bummer. So we'll have to see. A lot of hours. You know there's a lot of hours. I put in hundreds of hours on this stuff, and this map here is probably going to be the most time-consuming one that I've ever done. Just because of all the extra stuff that I want to put in it this time around. I'm hoping to get away with adding a lot more of the detail stuff that we usually miss out on. And that'll make it just that much better, I think, in the long run. But there's some scripts that don't need to run this time. All the scripts that ran in the gravel pit are now going to be just regular gravel and sand and stuff on the landscape. So it should be interesting. I haven't even checked on the UPK kit either in probably 2 weeks to see if they've overcome any of those issues. I'll have to look that up again, but it wasn't working multiplayer and it was throwing errors, and some of the features we need weren't supported yet, so it definitely needed some work. And multiplayer is a must if we're going to use it. There's just no way around it. Yep, detail equals time is correct. The more you add, and thing is, it's not like my maps didn't take a lot of time before, but it was all done in, most of my time was get the map set up and do, the detail was in the features. Not the actual looks, but more so in the features. This time it's going to be both if it kills me. And it might. And that is features and overall aesthetics is what I'm shooting for. Plus I'm learning it too. You know, I never really, some of these things that I'm doing, I'm still learning on new techniques to do different things, and that's just going to add on for the next one. I always try to make the latest one better than the previous in some way or another. It might be different, but something of it has to be improved upon, or I feel like I've fallen short, you know? So we'll always keep looking for new ideas and new ways to keep improving it. And sometimes there is, though, that step back. Yeah, there's sometimes that step back on what you can do just because, and a lot of people I think out there in the community right now are realizing that with the modding there's a new learning curve. So you sometimes have to take a step back. You can't get everything that you had right off the bat, and that's usually why that version 2 map comes along. Eventually it seems to pop out there, and then we'll put it in eventually. But getting a good solid place to start, that's the first thing. I don't know either how, and thank you there for Goober6312 for the follow, and Merv Swazi if I missed you. I can't remember. But anyhow, thanks for watching me paint my long train track here while I get ready to put some grass in around it. But you can see there's a ton of area out here still unexplored. I gotta build tunnels that go off the map, dead ends, so you can't drive just off into oblivion, but that'll come. Oh, look at this track. It comes all the way through here. It needs stuff as well. Is this side done? Oh man, I got so much work to do. It's scaring me. I guess I gotta start over here. And it's not gonna be the prettiest, but it will get better. Yeah, that looks good. Let me get some of this out of here. Anybody has any questions, I can just talk all night while I'm doing this, but if you guys have anything you actually want to hear, just just let me know. Or if there's something you need to figure out, I might be able to help. I won't guarantee it, but I still have a lot to go. A lot of people are ahead of me with the additional mods and the wood mills and everything because I'm still stuck in my own terrain. But we'll figure it out when I get there. And I will show you guys how we figured it out if it's difficult. The OG Dragon, thank you for the follow as well. And it's good to hear my cow is mooing. My follows are actually working for the second broadcast in a row. So, as we go along the railroad tracks, you know what I think I'll do tonight just because? I want to test something. You guys can't just sit here watching me paint a railroad track forever, right? Can you? Nah. So let's do something in a minute. I'm going to see what I want to just get this section done. You know what? The funny thing is, opacity, hardness, and value, and what setting you would use to finish details on a complex mountain landscape. You're working on forest mountains in the ocean, and a slip of the finger can destroy 5 hours of working. Yeah, you're not kidding. The creating is fun, but a pain in the butt. Just working on complex terrain is a pain in the butt. And there's no real easy way. And I have gone over some of this, but I can give you. You see how I did my mountains. They end up looking pretty cool, but I do it pretty quick. Let me get through here. And all I can tell you is it's a lot of experimenting with what you're comfortable with on those values. And I just find the best way to learn them for yourself. Let me find a spot on the map that I can destroy here temporarily. This is big enough. Is to check out what they do. And really the way I looked at it was give yourself like a small circle or square. I like to do a circle if you're making terrain. And with all ones, you can notice how quick it pulls up and how straight it pulls up. You know, so I often use this to just do a very quick, rough mountain area. You can literally go around and just... It's how long you hold down the mouse button, too. You know, little taps. And I do that with mine. I just tap the left mouse button and build up the area with the size of area that I want, but usually with a bigger circle for the whole area that I want to build a range in. And then I'll delete that back down for the basics. And then I'll use the smooth tool on the edges. If I'm looking to do something, let's take a... so you kind of got to feel. What I would do is just go to like maybe a 0.5 on your opacity and just watch the difference. It's not coming up as fast. I mean, it's all just experimenting with the different values. I guess if you look at that, here, let's back up and give ourselves a pretty good thing. All right. That is at 0.5 its reaction. And then this one would be at 1. Notice how much sharper the edges are and how quick it... I pretty much did the same exact motion. So if I change that opacity to 0.1 and did... Whoops. And clicked off... What did I just do? Oh, I clicked on something over there. Save? Probably delete. Haha, I did some... Oh, okay. There we go. if I do 0.1 and do the same thing, notice how much slower and broader the mountain is. So you're getting a different effect on the opacity. Hardness is definitely an easy fix, easy one to check. And that literally is hardness value of 1, very sharp edges coming up. If I do a hardness value of 0.5 next to that one, notice how it's a little bit smoother, and then your 0.1, whoops, 0.1 is very, you can see how much more sloped the sides are and much smaller top you get. So your hardness is really the edges here. Pretty easy to see that when you get used to it. And then you have your value. So with our value at 1 again, we're there, but at a 0.5, which is half, whoop, I hit the right number, 0.5, you get, that one's a little bit interesting because it does do a little bit, but not much. Let's do a 0.1. And it's how fast you're going up is really what that one, the value is how fast it's drawing up. Definitely takes a lot more to draw in. So you can, and just work with those values and find settings that work for you. My favorite settings happen to be 111 for quick, you know, drawing real quick, rough sketching things. But I really like to, depending on where I'm working, if I'm going to, say for instance, and I will do this in several places on the map, say I have this large flat field here, and I want to get it so it's not completely flat, but has some rolls in it. What I'll do is I'll turn all of these down to like a 0.2, so they're very slow and easy to control, and I'll just drag in here a very slight rise that will give it just a little bit of a hill in there for you guys to climb up when you're harvesting. It'll redraw the terrain on top of it, by the way, if I back out. But gives a little bit of texture, but not a lot of roll to the field, because it's coming up really slow. And if it gets way out of whack, you can always run the smooth tool over it too to make sure you didn't mess up anything. Just a little bit, take the edges down. But depending on where you're working, it's all about the circle size that you're using. Fine areas, you need to work with a much smaller circle. And what you're doing as far as working with the landscape, use your high and low values. They're awesome. I often in my early maps, your replace limit lower and higher. When you're working on your details of your mountain range, use those as frequently as you can or as needed, so that you can add a lot of extra detail into, say, the side of a mountain, or without worrying about messing something else up. That's the key. And that just replace limit lower, for instance. Here I don't want to mess with the railroad track. It's already been leveled and everything. But let's say I grab, because this place definitely could use some details to it. Let's say I grab the height of, which is left control R. You see the replace limit changes to wherever is directly under my cursor, and I'm roughly halfway up this hill. Now, if I was to just go and do the replace feature now, by turning on replace, I would get, well, let's crank up the value to make it happen faster. Again, I would get this nice, but I'm also getting this, I can go anywhere, and I also can end up destroying what's up there by my railroad track, which I don't want to do. So if I, for instance, just turn it into replace limit lower, then it's going to add on to this little place right here, because it won't replace anything higher, so I could extend it out if I wanted to. Or if I go to replace limit higher, it will give me the ability to just cut a ridge along my railroad track with that I can later on add the fine detail into and give it a little bit more detail as we go without worrying about messing up what's down below, keeping some of those details. So those are very cool features to add in there as well. There's also, I don't know if it's working yet. It used to work, and it didn't work with 17, but the erosion tools used to work with, which you have those down here. I don't use them much, I'll admit it. Enable erosion, add brush only. Now you used to be able to do this with the terrain replace tool as well. And I don't know if that's working now, but let's try. It is. Alright, so 111, let's put it on add. Oh no, it isn't. See, erosion used to cut into the landscape, and it's not anymore when you put it on the add brush. But I'm sure with the it has to be working with the terrain painting mode. Whoops, wrong texture. Now I really messed that up. I got gravel in my hill. Let's go back to my texture layer of mountain rock and fix that. But my erosion is enabled, and I'm not really getting. Oh, you seeing any difference this time? I guess, yeah, you could see it's turning it darker in that area as I'm going a little. But yeah, it doesn't do what it did last year. So I still don't mess with that too much. There's values in there. Solubility, water evaporation, iterations. Yeah, I'm sure I'll have to take some time and learn more about that myself. But that's just supposed to give a little bit different look to the terrain as you're painting it, and I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it worth my effort at this point. Where did I leave off over here? You guys remember? We've got quite a bit here. Oh, we were painting the railroad track, and it looks kind of sloppy, but it's getting there. I gotta do this little strip along the track in grass. Small square, and even smaller than 2. Hey, Def Gamer, good to see you out there. Let me do a type high DG. Because telling them isn't going to quite work. But lots and lots of time. The more detail, the more time. That's pretty much what it comes down to. By the way, Bad, I did get your donation alert and everything last week. Thank you for the $40 donation. I'm going to jump in and I want to check something out because I haven't done any real object importing into this map yet. But let me just get some grass in between this little stretch here, as small as it is. It would look funny if I left it bare. Oh yeah, lots more to go. Is anybody else getting buffering on stream like I am? I've got it up on one monitor, and it just started buffering. I hope you guys are all still good. It's probably just my computer with all that's going on it. 3 screens pumping out information left, right, and center. Alright, so this road just seems to go on forever and ever. I still don't know. There's such a lot of space down here. What's gonna go where? But every day it gets a little bit closer. That's all I could say. Alright, so I'm going to leave that there. Let's try exporting and importing. I'm going to leave the map open once it's saved here. Hey Kaboomba, how you doing tonight? And Mr. Sizzy as well, yes. Finishing details on a complex mountain, just remember to use your small circle, smaller values for your opacity, hardness, and value. Value actually will slow down the process to make it easier as well. And use your smooth tool whenever you can to get the details really fine-tuned too, and you should be good. But you just got to keep a small radius and it should work out. Gotta love terrain splines. Yeah, you can have them. I got 2 more huge ones to do. I'm gonna open up my rivers map real quick. Let's see if I can find map 01. And it needs to be opened in the 6.05 editor because it won't open up in this year's. And I have not imported a single thing yet into this map. I'm still working with all the default items, but this will be the first. If it ever loads up. It is kind of interesting because I'll have all this stuff for the stream, 2 maps loaded up. I don't use this train spline tool. I find it slows me down. Having to move this train spline tool around, I'd rather just I do pretty good eyeballing it after all these years. I know I have a system, so I don't need it. I guess if I was just learning for the first time, I would try to use it, but it's just one more step moving that thing around for me. Come on, what's going on here? There we go. Too much running. Alright, what I want to get in for sure is the museum over here. It has to go to its new place, so I built the museum so it's all in one group with its entire contents, hopefully. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. With sign and all. It looks like all the objects inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to file, export selection with files. I'm going to find my map and drop it right into a folder, which is PV17. Maps. Actually, we're just going to make a folder called Models. And then I'm going to, inside that one, make a new folder called Museum. And then just name it. I don't know if I'm spelling museum right, but close enough. Museum, and save it right into my other map from this map. Done. Now I can close this out. And if all works well, over here, we can click on the little plus sign. My editor's half off this monitor, or just a little bit. And it'll bring me right to the folder where I last was, which is, there's the museum. Imported. Let it import. There it is over there. Let me go over and check it out. In its entirety. But what I wanted to do is check out if it'll fit down in this little area over here that we made, or if I want to put it in back. I want to see just how much room it takes up. I think it's backwards, but I think I'm going to try to squeeze it in back down here. Let's see what we have. See, a lot of room over here and a lot of funky landscape, and I want to see if this museum can be dropped into any of these spots and be, I think. Whoa. I'm thinking that this might actually look and work pretty cool right about here. Let's bring it up to ground level. I don't know how level the ground is in this section, but it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty close right all the way around. Now the question is, what kind of room are we going to have to get in and out of this place? I think if I left it right there, will be pretty good. Is there a trigger with this? No, but the box is there for a trigger. And we obviously can't have the sign across the street. So we'll move the sign post first, I guess. Figure out where that's going to be. And grab the rest of the sign, which is everything else. Gotta make sure I grab the whole group, because the lights have to come with it and everything. And we'll drag that into place. And I do have a lot of updating to do in this museum. Get all you guys' donations up to date and everything. And we're going to work on that room for our dear friend that passed. Get her done farm all nights, or stale popcorn farts as some know. We'll have his own little shrine inside the museum this year. And that's pretty cool. I might turn that part. Let's try. I'm going to bring that right over the entrance, I think. I'll see if we can drive under it. Anyone heard from Throsby? Not I. Hope he's doing okay. I don't think I have heard from him recently. Is he MIA as well? It happens. Life sometimes interferes with video games. It's a terrible thing. But it happens. Let's bring in some concrete here. And try to fill in the semblance of a parking lot with our sign here. Just kind of get an idea of what the museum's going to look like. We got to put parking lines. I don't like the fact that the city is at an angle. It's going to make things difficult for getting really. But I guess we could put parking along the edge. And up and underneath. And still have room for something else next door to this big monstrous building. But there. We'll check it out. We'll look around it later. I think it'll look pretty good. I might finish off this area right here just because it's kind of small. We'll put in some decorative objects out here. Planters or something. But the museum's in. First building. Get all the casino models and put it in here. Yeah. It would be so cool to have casinos. But, and that was one of the things we were talking about actually in the past. Building in casinos and having to stock them up. But there's not a lot of casino models out there. And if you want the really good ones, they're either too high poly or they can be very expensive to get a good looking casino. Thanks, Badzilla. As usual, I'm glad you like it. I hope it doesn't disappoint you when you get it. But there's so much more to go. As you can see, I just keep on going wherever I have to go with details. Andy GT, how's it be? Glad to see you out there. I'm not going to be here for a lot longer tonight. I'm going to end the show an hour early at 11, I believe. So I got a couple things I got to do tomorrow. And yeah, but you guys got to keep you guys caught up for sure. And like I said, most of the time right now it's more of the same. But we'll be getting into a lot more added items very soon. We're going to do the sawmills probably next week. Get the sawmills in, some specialty silos for pig food and those types of things, along with wool storage racks and everything that's in Andre's map. Not everything. But he's been doing some really cool stuff, so we're going to have to start assembling some areas on the map to make it look good and work good as well. Is that what I think it is? What's the poly count for that building? That building, haha, you don't want to see the poly count on that one. It's the whole thing with everything in it, and Cable Car, thanks for the follow, is pretty extensive because of all the, well, you guys know all the displays that are in there. I mean, there's whole vehicles inside that, but it's always handled pretty good. I just hope it can handle where it is. If not, it might have to go to that other lot far, far away. But the whole thing right now is actually not as bad as I thought. 398,000 vertices, 384,000 triangles. I've seen vehicles with more than that for the whole museum. The so yeah, it isn't as bad as I thought, but there's so much stuff in there. But a lot of it's ad strips, and the building was a low poly building to begin with. Nothing like it. I mean, it's a lot, but you got to remember we have all those. Well, we'll give a reminder. All those signs and all the details, and we've got the cement mixer sitting in there, and just going to be added to over time as we keep going here. I just got to keep on painting, and I'm just doing the rough road sides right now to keep everything consistent. Could you imagine how many street lights will be on this thing if I am able to get them in? Holy moly, that there will probably be 5 days of street lights alone. Now I don't know if the engine will be able to handle. I gotta fix the road down there a little bit, but that's okay. There'll be a tunnel in there anyway, so it's not a big deal right now. I'm thinking that this little link here that Andy gave me is probably some tunnel that I can download. Thank you so much, Andy. Can I get that download started? I have no idea. My computer is just being really, well, not great. So let me see if I can open the folder. Holy moly, there it is. Yeah, you can see everything's running so slow. I think I will do that part later. I'll let you know, Andy, if it's coming out. Because, what are we at? Yeah, I got to end this in about a half hour. Well, door triggers from FS15. There is a new animation map door trigger. I haven't got there yet. We're going to be getting into that very soon to see what needs to be done. They can work, but you probably need the new animation map door trigger for sure. And I'm just checking out to see what areas I might want to break up a little bit more. I think we're pretty good with that area. It almost seems like this is just way too big right in through here. I don't need all that space, but I have to figure out what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just save this for now. Yeah, the doors should work. Okay. Oh, really? It should just drop into play. I'm going to have to remove the other ones too, but I'll check that out and mess around with it. And thank you so much, Andy. I'll let you know if I need anything else, but that's cool. For tonight, I'm just going to jump back in the map. Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. Excuse me, I'm yawning here. And I really have been doing this for, well, now 12 and a half hours. So I'm going to just jump in and take another ride around and look at my museum and some of the things that were going on and take a little bit of a relaxing break and then call it an evening. So if you want to see a little bit more of the map, stick around. We'll be riding around in there. And just seeing how everything is. And tomorrow's another day. 12-hour days are actually the usual around here on the map. Let's go back. I want to start a new save game because terrain details, the foliage layers don't show up if I don't start a new one. Could you check the windows? I'm not sure what you mean there, Bonger. Let's grab something and go for a ride. Where was I? What did I want to do? Oh, the museum, out back. Let's go around out back. So much to do, but I can't wait to start playing on it. I actually can tell you this. I have had a single player game on my career game, just on the basic Goldcrest Valley map, and I stopped playing it because I'm too anxious to get this done. For testing, I want to be, if I'm going to play to test stuff, I want it to be on the server, or at least some single player tests on a map. No roads? What do you mean no roads on the map? There's tons of roads on the map. Can you see the roads? Oh, windrows on oat. Yeah, we got to check that out too. I'll do that in a minute. Windrows on the oat. I got to buy. All right, we'll take care of that before I forget. See what time we have. Oat. Where are you so oat? Where oat thou? 30 and 11. Let's get some equipment. Excuse me, car. I didn't mean to block you off. 30 and 11. I must get myself a harvester. Actually, let's jump over to field 11 by going. I'm learning this stuff. It's right here. Visit. Is it ready? No, it is not. Let's check 30. Visit. Yes, it is. Alright, so we're going to have to buy this field real quick. And get myself a piece of equipment from the store, I guess, for testing purposes. Let's try the good old... I like the case. With... I don't like driving down the road with a huge header all the time, but... we'll see what we can do. Woohoo! We need a header trailer, don't we? Or should I just try it? What do you think? We'll just bang into everything on the way. See if we can get there. I'm up for the challenge. I can't even hook it up. Come on. You can do it. Alright, let's see. Field 30 is that away. Think we can get there with this monster header on here? Probably not, but I'm determined. Let's get off in the field back here and we'll be better off. Oh no! Fire hydrant. As long as that car doesn't take a left turn, no! No! We're working on it. Hey, you're very welcome, Iceman. I can't wait to finish. Yeah, mini-map. I will do a temporary one right before it goes on the server. Just so these guys aren't completely lost, but we'll do the more better one a little bit down the road when it's done, because you just never know what's going to change between now and then. So, field 30. Oh, it's a long ride. watch out for everything. I'm coming through. See what I could see down there. I think the oat field past my... And look how much better the distance texture on the sugarcane looks this year. It blends right in. I have to rework some of them. But sugarcane is good. The building. Yeah. I'll hit anything if it jumps out in front of me. Alright, so that one is sorghum. That definitely needs its distance textures reworked. Like I said, I haven't got there yet. But I think that's the sorghum. Or is that the... It's very similar to the millet. That could be the millet in the final stages. Let's turn on my menu. Open up my combine. Get out. Oh, my straw swath is on. We'll see if we have straw. I have no clue. But we'll find out in a minute. Yeah, I think it is. Thanks, Iceman. It definitely is a work in progress, but we are progressing. It appears that you are correct in the fact that the windrows are not working on... Heck, I don't even have the particles, though, correct on here. I'm going to have to take a look at how his are installed and move some of the... I mean, if you look at the crops I added rather than the defaults, he has the header working, but that's not even correct with the colors and stuff that it should be. So I'm definitely going to have to go back to the ones that came with this set and rework it and see if I can get everything working. So that answers that question. Definitely not working yet. But it's still a long way to go, so let's go back to where I was heading. Museum bound. It'll be worth the wait. That I promise you. Look at... I still have cars turning around doing a U-turn in the middle of the road. Right there. Right at the end of the tunnel. And who knows? I'm still wondering. It all depends what happens here. There may be a version 1 that is not the advanced version for you guys to get you on the map, you know? Get all these details I'm talking about and the few things that are out there and some sell points. And I could theoretically release it before adding all the factories in. We'll see what happens. And if we get to a relatively complete state early and don't have everything we need, we might get something out to you guys to start playing around with, well, because then we can take longer on the next version, you know? They're afraid of the outside world. But there's still a lot to do. I mean, fruit types alone, that's the scary part. I've got to see them break the limit, or there's no sense of bringing in all the factories. So we're concentrating on the must-haves right now, you know? The must-have stuff, and then a few different fruit types. If you missed the lavender displays and everything last week, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. But look, we have a building down here. I just want to see what it is like for coming down here. That'll look good amongst the city area. The first inhabitant. I do see coming down here, though, I did notice a little bit of frame-ish issues just loading it in, I think, because it's still pretty good. 58. Yeah, I'm getting some spikes down low because there's everything in the museum, and that's one thing to keep in mind, is on a very low draw-in because you don't have to see it till you're inside. So it isn't till you get right in the parking lot that you get that quick drops down where everything loads in. I'm not even sure the rotating boards are working right now. Yeah, they are. And those totals are totally not up to date. But when you stand still, the frame rates come right back up there. And I'm gonna have to ask him about. Hey, is he gonna be doing a new field status? Because we're gonna have to replace his ad. But everybody should still be in here. I'm just gonna check it out quick. That was in last year, and of course, Pukes PV17 is only, let's see, uh, his total on the stream is far lower than what it actually is. So we gotta work all that stuff out too, because it's higher on this here. Oh, some funky reflections going on this year. Look at right through the. Something went on with that import of the. You could see right through it. Some weird reflections on the stand there. Everything else looks okay there. The streaming signs. Lots of rooms. They're all still in here. They look good. We're going to have to change a lot of those. Has anybody seen Troutmouth lately? I missed the guy. He was a lot of fun. But I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. Is he coming back streaming someday? I thought he was coming back and then didn't hear from him. Let's go upstairs. Yeah, no need to rush it. I'm not going to rush it, but if I get to a point where we're at a standstill and we've got some of the basic stuff in, then we shall continue onward and maybe get a pre-release type thing. We'll see where it goes. You never know. Oh, I'm in the bathroom. Ladies' room. Get out of there. Oh, well, I guess we got to have a transgender one now. Yeah, there's some definitely funky lighting issues going on in the museum from the import this year, as you could see. So I don't know what that's all about with this translucent looking textures, but we'll find out. And there's some doors that may be opened. Oh, the gold room. Here's the gold room. Look at all these donuts. This is so far behind too. But yeah, we're going to get back into as we get closer, and we'll get this thing all caught up with all the donors that have. But I think it's going to look here. I think the view is really nice here in the city. I think we might just keep it right here. Not 100% sure, but we've got the silver sponsors. I can't get out the door. Is there a door there? There it is. It's going to be pretty awesome. All right. Lots and lots of room left, though, which is good, because I hope to be doing this for quite a while, and I needed to have a big enough place to keep on going. I just brought it in, imported it, and it's good to go. Where the heck did I put all the other silver room? Wasn't the silver room on this level? Or is it down one? Oh, they're up. I'm lost. Gold. It's been so long since I've been in here that I think the rooms have been. I thought they were all right there. Come on. Am I out of my mind? Am I losing my mind? Weren't they just off? Did I miss? They must be left behind. I must have them in different groups. I'll have to go and restore them, because I thought they were right off of there. Bronze was top floor. Why do I have gold on the top floor? Unless I'm not up all the way to the top floor. Is that what it is? I bet you that's what it is. I bet you it's been so long, I bet you there's actually 2 more floors up from here. Because that's the gold. That's what it is. The silver room should be right here. Silver room 2. There they are. They look good still. And silver room 1. I forgot how many floors there were to this building. With all our silver sponsors. And then the bronze up one more. Yeah, it's a long way down. I forgot about that. See what we forget. So all the bronze sponsors. There is some definitely weird reflection values on some stuff this time around. The posts look a little bit different, but it should be a pretty good view from here when we get it all filled in. I'm kind of liking it. I know, I keep you... KW keeps me on my toes. Here, let me jump out of here. Somebody's got to keep me in line over here. We'll get some parking spaces and parking lines, but I just want to make sure we can get in and out where we're supposed to. Is that right where the sidewalk? It looks like we're down a little bit. That's what the parking lot has to be raised up. It's not perfect yet. A little bit of raising and leveling the stuff around there. But it'll get there. So, just a few minutes left here. About another 10 minutes. Anybody, we'll just take a little tour. See what we've missed. See how things are progressing. Definitely once all the trees come in on this, it's going to start filling in and really just looking totally different. I mean, there are none of the decorative trees have been put in. Then we'll work on customizing the farms with much more detail. I mean, they're really basic. I got the basic working things, but we want to have all the new different things that you can do. There's some special silos for pig feed and all that stuff. We definitely want to get those in. But look at these massive fields too. I bet you guys can't wait to start doing some good sized fields with your combines. Then instead of all those tiny postage stamp ones, you will be able to keep yourself busy here. Just pretty neat. There is one sell point back down there. That is one that was on the inside of the map. I just had to move it because the railroad track got rerouted. But there will definitely be more along the rails. Good night, Fizzman. Grabby, thank you so much for the donation. You know how much I appreciate everything you have given me and helped me out with. I really do appreciate it. $10 donation. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to have to... I built not one and not two, but like 5 BGAs just for you, Grabby. I knew you'd like that. Good night, Fizzman, by the way. The Sultan of Silage is going to find his home on this map because every farm has its own BGA bunker and sell point. The Holy Goose, thank you for the follow. Holy Goose 0056. I am taking a shortcut. Yes, you can take shortcuts. You can take shortcuts through the water. But you can dig out the water. In West Sand Lake here. Do I have my sand in the lake? Did I lose it? It should be there. Nope, it's still there. Just doesn't show up till you're right on top of it. Dig away. I'm going to be doing several... I think I did 3 hours of sand dumping this morning to get 5 million more in there. But these are some pretty nice sized fields as well. And this is probably much more... This is what all the area that I'm driving through is going to start to look like. The trees are in this area for the most part. And there will be some changes. The silo has been temporarily moved over by the lake for sand. But everything here is placeable down below, well, the barns, so you can build it up the way you want. You got your own little BGAs. You're going to be having, when I get around to it, the purpose of your BGA is to be on the farm, and you will be able to sell stuff, but there will be another dump spot that has a fuel tank attached to it that is how you'll be creating fuel on your farms this time around. You will be able to dump right in, and actually you can sell off in one, create your fuel in the other. And most of the farms, except for a couple, will have that capability. And as I said before, the things I'm doing this time around are to make it so that every farm has its pluses, but there will be some negatives. So a couple of them might have bigger silos, some of them have 2 BGAs, some of them, one or two of them won't be able to create fuel, and will have to rely on the others if you're running it in multiplayer to do fuel, but they might have a larger capacity for certain crop types as well, so they're going to be all balanced out as time goes on, but not all exactly the same. You don't know how... Oh. You would make the sand trailer hold 20 million. Yeah, you'd have to really change the weight of the sand or run a... I haven't done any modding. It would save some time. You don't know how others feel about them, but I hate the raised dump pits at the silos and sell points. I actually like them myself, the raised ones. I really do. I just think that they're, yeah, a little more realistic. And I think they add a little bit to the looks of the area rather than what I have always hated, absolutely, and you guys might know this, but I got a whole strip of grass I missed down here. Well, the grass is still being worked on. Once these guys come in and start working on the map, they'll point out everything that I've missed like that. But one of the things I've always hated were the yellow boxes everywhere. Those yellow warning line boxes that just really wouldn't exist. I am so happy this year that they gave us the ability to turn them on and off with built into the map. You don't see that many that are that steeply raised. I don't know. Good morning, the bad touch. I don't think that they're, well, this one here, I don't think it's that steep. I mean, that's very, very small. Doesn't go up hardly at all. The buildings like that. But I know which ones you're talking about, the ones at the farms. There's just some really different terrain coming in this time. There's a big spot down behind that field, which, again, when you see big flat grass spots like that behind your fields on this map, remember, grab your roller. Here, let's do a little roller work. We haven't done that in a few weeks. That's a good place to do it. Let's see. We don't need a challenger. And the roller I'm talking about is under miscellaneous right here. Yellow works. Where the heck am I on the map? It's hard to, I'm out back. I always forget where I am. Come on, find the right vehicle. There we go. Now, I said I'm out back. That really didn't make... What the heck did just happen there? Huh? What was that? Did I knock it all over backwards or something? I wasn't looking. What did I just do? Replay. This is going to flip over, isn't it? Woo! Yep. Move the silo into the lake. It's right up against the lake. It's not too bad. Where was I? I was on the other side of the map, wasn't I? Was I over this way? 10 out of 10. I don't know, but if you guys see those big flat areas, I think I might have been that way. Then you usually can go in and make your own areas out of them. We might need to get Big Daddy to do a bigger roller too, though, so you have two sizes for when you really want to go to town and restore some landscape. Stretch this roller out about double wide for the really big areas that might take a long, long time. Heading back. Yeah, we'll go up this way. I gotta fix that overlook thing up there too still. It's floating in the air. A triple wide folding roller. That would be cool. A 53-foot roller. I know one thing for the amount that you guys are going to be doing some of this stuff. This one isn't going to quite cut it. But you could see just getting to where I want to go is a different task this time around. You're going to have to find the roads and find the little passageways to each of your home little farms. And you never know. It's not just drive straight. Not anymore. Let me see if I can find one of those places. For what you would do, you'd need a 100-foot roller. That's a big one. The Mandaco rollers that LBJ did, yep. Yeah, hey, we could. You guys remember the bar that you could hook 3-seaters on? Maybe we just get one of those little things where you can hook 3 rollers onto it. One of those extension bars, and each has 3 hitches for three rollers. Then you can choose. You can just use the same in-game one, but hook 3 up together. Hey Scott Anime, how's it going out there? I don't know where I was when I. Oh yeah, you see in the distance there, is that it's either a field or it's actually an area. Actually, I think that's field down there. Wow. But out on the outside of that field. Oh, there's a place I didn't actually put the there's actually a place right there that I was going to cover up but did not. I'm just looking. That we are way up on the hillside. I think I was down this way. I'm just going to drive around with this roller all day. I am not where I'm supposed to be. Up on the train track ledge. Let's go down below. But you can go there. Just be careful of the train when it comes. A plane that would drop flattening bombs? Yeah, what if you miss? Oh, there goes everything. There goes the neighborhood. There's some weird angles on the fields down here, but when we start filling in the details around them, it won't be so strange looking. I kept them pretty square and straight, even though the roads are crooked in spots. I don't know where the heck that spot was that I was, but I'm just going to drive around until I find another one. Oh, I know where it was. I think it was completely over on the other side of the eggplant. I have not done eggplant in this map yet, but if you missed last week's, we have mustard this year. And we have lavender, which is pretty cool. And we have, what was the other? Oat and rye are in, but oh my gosh. Oh, peanuts, peanuts. So one of the things also we've been kind of working on is we're mixing things up to quite the extent where the new crops aren't all going to be just grab that old combine header and go this time around. The lavender is a forage product and requires you to use the forage harvester, and your mustard does work on a combine, but your peanuts are going to need one of the homers or with our special header. And the sugar cane is going to require the corn header, I believe, for now. I think it's just going to be, we might add it to the special sunflower header type thing too. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to mix it up so that you're not always just grab the same combine. I have no idea where I was going, and I am lost out here now, looking for a spot to do a. There's a lot of them out here, but they're usually on the edges. To drop my roller, I wanted to go to one of the big ones. I should have started on the other side because I know I haven't really worked too much on this side. But there are several up here too. Say what? You have issues there, JCM. Alright, so I think maybe back here we can do a little bit. I see some fields on the outside. That area is not done. This area is just fields. Did I do some up here yet? I have no idea. Yes, I did this whole area right here. So if you wanted to, you could take your roller, and let's say I want to. I did leave a crossover place up here, I believe. But some things you just can't do. You can't just leave a lot of these places to plow, but if I come over here, and there will be trees to remove, but let me lower my roller, and I can literally just start creating my own area in here to build anything I want. Slowly and carefully and methodically. You might want to be, but it's probably the best road making possibility we've had. So that's why I'm putting a lot of, and yeah, you're going to have to, I imagine if you had one of those mods for the, you might have to do a little bit of cleanup edges, straighten them out a little bit, like there, to get your nice edges on your roads. But you literally can cut out any area along that as well to build your own barns in and stuff. And do a whole big one now. I mean, You want to put a row down the side with leave some grass around and put some greenhouses on it. Look at the size of the area you'll have once you clear everything off of it. I mean, you could also just keep it as fields on both sides, but if the fields that are done like this, if you decide to plow out your own pathways with this roller, you can literally build your own small villages. Grow some pork. All right, what's going on out there? We can always get rid of them. Grow some porcupines. Rag and Pop, thank you for the follow. So yeah, you have lots of area to create your own roads as well on this map. Or farm the grass for the higher, you can fertilize it and actually get something out of it, but you can tell which fields have been set to be able to be removed nice and quickly and restored to the original texture. Cold Banter, thank you for the hosting, but I am ending the show. I was going to end it earlier today. We're going to be ending in just a minute. But thanks for the late host anyway. And Rag and Pop, thank you for the host as well. Just want to give you guys an idea of what's coming down the road. But you could see, you could do a lot up here. You can then carve out your areas to build your little buildings as well. Bring in some placeable sheds. You know, let's see what happens if I grab a placeable. I'm just curious. I know there's grass removal already. You'll still have the texture underneath. Let's bring up a hayloft over here though and just drop it in. And then you can take your little thing and build your own little path around it. Make it look like your own part of the farm. Plant a few more trees around it. Whatever you want to do. You know? A lot more customization to drive. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with doing it. But I think this is a pretty cool idea. Being able to really customize your maps up and have them look pretty decent. You know, there you go. You can expand your whole little neighborhood up here and make it look however you want it. And there's tons of these areas, and very large ones at that, that are going to be built onto the map. I mean, this one stretches for miles. Alright, let me put that up. And you know, sometimes in life you just have to get rid of people. Alright. Anyhow, I'm tired of seeing and sit on it and sit on it and sit on it. Oh, and you guys, it's all right. Anyhow, with that being said, I'm gonna call it an evening, and we will be back here on Monday with some more of this landscape done. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful evening, and we shall see you on Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, if not sooner. Have a great day. Yeah, do that next time. Thanks, Andy.